Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I want you to imagine the kind of morning most people rush through without thinking. The clatter of cups, the smell of fresh coffee, the cold air of dawn still lingering as people hurry to work. But inside a small corner cafe on Maple Street, something quietly extraordinary was happening every single morning. It wasn't loud, it wasn't dramatic, but it mattered. And it began with a waitress named Lily. Lily had been working at Maple Street Cafe for almost 3 years. She wasn't someone people noticed at first glance. She wore her hair in a simple ponytail. Her uniform was often wrinkled from the rush, and her hands told the story of long hours and tired nights. But behind that weary smile was a heart that hadn't yet been hardened by the world around her. Every morning, exactly at 10:10 a.m. the cafe door would open, and an old man would walk in. His name was Mr. Hargrove. He wore the same faded gray coat, the same flat cap pulled low over his eyes, and he always carried an old leather briefcase that looked like it had lived through several decades. Most customers barely noticed him. Some even avoided sitting near him because of his shabby appearance. But Lily always noticed him. She noticed the way he walked slowly, carefully, as if every step took effort. She noticed how he always sat at the same corner table by the window, the one where the sunlight warmed the chair even on the coldest mornings. She noticed how he counted coins from a small pouch to pay for his breakfast, always with the same hesitancy, as if he feared he might fall short. And she noticed something else. He always looked lonely, not just alone. Lonely. So every morning, Lily did something others didn't. She greeted him with the warmest smile she had, brought him his usual order without waiting for him to ask, a small coffee, 1 sugar, no cream, and a buttered toast. And she spent a few minutes chatting with him, even when the cafe was busy and the manager shot her disapproving looks. For months, their morning ritual continued. She asked about his day. He asked about her dreams. She once told him she wanted to go to nursing school but couldn't afford it. He told her she would make a wonderful nurse because she had what money couldn't buy. Kindness. Other employees never understood why she bothered. Some joked behind her back, saying she was wasting time on a nobody. But Lily didn't see a nobody. She saw an old man who had lived a life, had stories, had memories, had heartbreak, and she believed kindness wasn't something you reserved only for the rich or the impressive. One morning, Lily noticed something different. Mr. Hargrove's hands were trembling more than usual. When he lifted his coffee, it shook so much that a few drops spilled onto the table. Lily immediately fetched napkins and helped him hold the cup steady. Rough night, she asked softly. He forced a small smile. It happens at my age. But Lily could tell something was wrong. His skin looked paler, his breathing slightly strained. When he stood to leave, his legs buckled for a second and Lily quickly grabbed his arm before he fell. Are you sure you're okay? She asked. I'm fine, my dear, he said, brushing it off. Just old bones. But Lily wasn't convinced. She offered to call someone, maybe a friend or family member, but he shook his head. I don't have anyone, he whispered, and that sentence stayed with her for the rest of the day. The next morning, 7:10 came, but the door didn't open. At first, she thought she misread the clock. Maybe he was just running late, but minutes passed. Then half an hour, then an hour. And Mr. Hargrove never came. Worry twisted in her stomach. She served customers mechanically, but her mind was elsewhere. Something felt wrong, deeply wrong. After her shift ended, she walked toward the direction he always came from, hoping she might run into him, but she had no idea where he lived. 3 days passed, then for a week, and still, he didn't return. Some customers asked her why she looked distracted. The manager scolded her for losing focus, but she couldn't stop thinking about him, the trembling hands, the pale face, the way he told her he had no one. She regretted not insisting on helping him that morning. She regretted letting him walk out alone. 2 weeks later, something happened. Something no one in the cafe could have predicted. That it was a quiet Wednesday morning. The cafe was only half full. Lily was wiping down the counter when suddenly, the cafe door swung open. Not gently, the way it usually did, but forcefully, with purpose. 4 large men in black suits entered first. They weren't customers. They weren't regulars. They looked like security, serious, intimidating, each scanning the room as if looking for threats. Behind them, 2 men in expensive suits walked in, carrying briefcases. The entire cafe went silent. Some customers froze others stared. Even the manager's face turned pale. Lily stood still, her heartbeat pounding. The men approached the counter, and the one in front, tall with sharp features, asked, Are you Lily Thompson? Her voice caught in her throat. Yes, that's me. He exchanged a brief glance with the others before speaking. We are the legal representatives of Mr. Arthur Hargrove. Lily's breath hitched. He's okay, right? I haven't seen him in weeks. The man lifted a hand gently. Please sit. There's much we need to discuss. She hesitated, fear and confusion swirling inside her, but she followed them to one of the tables. The bodyguards stood behind her like a wall of silence. The lawyer opened his briefcase, took out several envelopes, and placed them in front of her. Miss Thompson, he began, Mr. Hargrove passed away 12 days ago. The words sliced through her like cold steel. She felt her throat close, her vision blur. The lawyer continued softly. Before he passed, he left very specific instructions. They concern you and me, she stammered. But why? The lawyer opened another envelope, pulling out a handwritten letter. This is his final personal message to you. She recognized the handwriting immediately. Shaky, slanted, but unmistakably her hands trembled as she unfolded the letter. My dear Lily, if you are reading this, it means my journey has ended. Tears welled in her eyes as she continued. For months, you treated me with kindness, when the world treated me like I had become invisible. You spoke to me as if I mattered. You noticed me, you helped me, and you cared, even when I told you I had no one. A tear rolled down her cheek. What you didn't know, the letter continued, is that I was once the owner of Hargrove Industries. I stepped away years ago after losing my wife and son in an accident. I withdrew from the world, and over time, the people who once claimed to care for me drifted away, except you. Her breath shook. You reminded me what compassion looked like, and I decided long ago that if kindness ever found me again, I would make sure it never went unrewarded. The lawyer cleared his throat and slid a thick folder toward her. Mr. Hargrove transferred 60% of his remaining shares to you. The lawyer said gently, as of this morning, you are the majority owner of Hargrove Industries. Lily gasped, nearly dropping the letter. And, the lawyer added, he left you his home, his savings, and a scholarship fund he established in your name for nursing school. Lily covered her mouth, sobbing. Customers who had been listening in were stunned. Even the manager sat down, speechless. He wanted you to know, the lawyer finished, that your kindness changed the last months of his life. He said you gave him something he hadn't felt in years, dignity. Lily wiped her tears, but new ones kept falling. She couldn't believe it. She had served him breakfast, helped him when he trembled, and talked to him like he mattered, because that's what kindness meant to her. She never expected anything in return. She never wanted anything in return. The lawyer handed her one final envelope. He asked that you open this privately. Later that night, sitting alone in her small apartment, Lily opened it. Inside was a key, a photograph, and a note. The photo was old, a picture of Mr. Hargrove standing beside a young woman who looked exactly like Lily. For a moment, she thought she was dreaming. The note explained everything. You reminded me so much of my daughter. She died young, far too young. Every time you spoke to me, every time you smiled, I felt as though I was seeing her again. I hope this life I leave for you helps you become everything she never had the chance to be. Lily pressed the letter to her heart and cried until she couldn't anymore. The next morning, she didn't go to the café. Instead, she walked toward her new future, not as a waitress struggling to survive, but as the owner of a company, the heir of a man who had seen kindness one last time before leaving the world. From that day on, Lily lived a life built not on luck, but on the simple truth Mr. Hargrove had believed. Kindness is never wasted. It always finds its way back, and sometimes, it walks in with lawyers and 4 bodyguards.